Bubble, bubble, bubble. Hello, anybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Super Metroid. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode, we made some good, solid progress into Maridia, the water level that I am not the biggest fan of. See reasons that were cited in the previous episode, I guess. And in today's episode, we're just going to keep going on right through Maridia on the path that I think is the most efficient path that we could possibly take. We also got a missile pack that was in Kraid's hideout that we couldn't get until we got the spring ball, which we got in the last episode, and now we can sit and stand on frozen fish in mid-water. I was going to say mid-air, but then it turned out to be mid-water. So anyway, the direction we need to go is we need to go up to the top of this room and back to a room that was filled with grapple points, I do believe. An interesting thing about Maridia is that the gravity suit does allow you to, move fluidly throughout the water, but it's funny because unlike most other platforming games, you don't receive any kind of vertical boost or high jump from walking in water, so that is interesting in its design. I will say that if you can master the wall jump, it will make your progress or your journey through Maridia a lot more convenient. It'll make your life a lot easier. However, we're not going to be using that because we are going to be using the grapple beam. My main advice here is to don't panic when you're on the cracked blocks because, damn it, don't panic because you have more than enough time to go through those blocks or kind of reposition yourself and figure out where you are and where you kind of need to go. Now I'm coming up here to kind of show this off real quick, but if you scan around this area, you'll find a path that will lead you out here. And there are these bugs that you can refill on if you want, and I think I might do that really quickly actually. Refilling on super missiles is a pain, but I think that's basically everything that we needed. So you come through here, you get a one-way green path. Now, if you come in through here, you'll find that this lets out back in this major shaft in Brinstar that would take us. This is where we got the power bombs. Don't go through here. Do not take this path out of Maridia. You don't want to go this way. And the reason I'm just showing this off because it's here, and this is very likely when you're going to find it, because you're going to be exploring all the doors you can. I think this was instated as a way of interconnecting the world in an easier way, but I think most people, when finding this room, would probably go through, dump themselves back into Brinstar, and then accidentally have to go back all the way through, go back all the way to the bottom of Brinstar, which admittedly doesn't take that long, but then you have to work your way back up to here, and it's just a little bit of a nuisance. I don't think that was their intention. I don't think they were trying to troll anybody, and I think they were just trying to interconnect the world, but in the event, I think they just kind of made things more tedious, and I am stuck, because I need to get on this last grapple point in order to get up there to where we need to go. However, if you do land on this ledge, the game does have a little bit of mercy because it is easy to kind of get through here. You don't necessarily need to do a perfect sequence of grapple points, and for that I am grateful. But yes, don't go through that door in the ceiling, it'll just take you out of Brinstar, and it interconnects the world, but it doesn't so much succeed in that as I feel that it could have. Anyway, we're going to be coming up through here, and I'm just going to check the map again real quick. Alrighty, I was just double checking to make sure that we wanted to be here, and we do. Because this area up here doesn't serve a ton of purpose, admittedly, aside from holding some power-ups, which, we may as well get while we're here. First one is through this wall, or this invisible, or this fake wall, that'll just take us over here and get us a missile pack. That's great. That's wonderful. And it's kind of funny because other than these power-ups, I think this room and this area is just a dead end. You can come all the way to here, all the way over here, that is, and jump all the way down here, but all you're gonna find is this weird jumpy dude, and there's actually nothing else down here. It's actually kind of weird that they have no power-up hidden over here, and it's such a mean red herring, especially when you consider later on that there are invisible blocks that your X-ray visor cannot see through, or fake blocks that your X-ray visor cannot see through, if I'm going to be more accurate. Where we want to come is over here, because we're going to be getting a little bit of a more meaningful power-up while blasting our way through this area, jumping through at the speed of sound. This is another dead end with another wall that you walk through, because of course, what else would it be? because Maridia is kind of a one-trick pony. Well, it's got a few other tricks. They're just not very nice. I will say I do like kind of the aesthetic they're going for with the aquatic theme here. Like, even though this is an aquatic level, there's an upper area to it, which isn't really beach-like, because whenever you get a game that has an aquatic-themed level, it always feels like like if there's a ground section to that level, it's gonna be on the beach, or something like that. So we do come down here through this hole in the floor, and we get ourselves a super missile, and also a normal missile pack, because why not? To be honest, I'm not sure why the missile count in this game, or like the missile max in this game, is so high. It doesn't feel like it needs to be, aside from getting you up to a maximum of 255, I think, and kind of being a callback to the original Metroid's insane missile count. But on the NES, that made a little more sense as kind of, well, just how NES games were designed, and it was a lot more annoying on the NES, I'll say that much, but it feels like they're just kind of trying to do an homage there, when it's just kind of unnecessary. To be fair, Metroid Prime, the GameCube games, also had like 255 missiles max, but it feels like those were a little more fair to get. I don't know if I rocked the mic a little bit there, hopefully not. But other than that, we've cleared out this room and we can go back down to where we were before, while avoiding these fish. These fish are actually quite violent and dangerous, but you'll find that your beam takes care of pretty much everything down here that it needs to take care of. Combat, by the time you get the 4 laser upgrades that you need, that being Charge, Ice Wave, and Spazer, and also a mystery final slot, you'll find, of course, that it'll take care of pretty much anything that doesn't specifically need missiles or so. So if you look down here at the bottom of the floor, you would have seen a crab walking around, and you might have already noticed it, but it leads you down here, and that'll take you to a super missile door. And we're actually getting a bit closer to the end of the area. If you look at the map, actually, you'll be able to tell that at the end of the very far end of the area, that's where our end of area boss is going to be. That's not really a spoiler, because by now you've found out that that's what that marker means on a map. We've seen it in Norfair, we've seen it in Kraid's hideout. I don't think you can see it in the wrecked ship where you fight Fantoon, because you can't get the map data for wrecked ship before you go in his room. I'm just gonna save here real quick. But by now you know what that symbol means. So we're actually getting pretty deep into, and also this is another change of aesthetic when you come through this area. It's kind of pipey, and I don't know what this layer of haze in front of you is. I mean, that's water, but at the same time it's kind of strange. You got a lot of space here that lets you run back and forth, and there is actually a bombable hole here you can go through that'll get you that'll lead you down to a few secret areas, but we're not going to be going down there yet, because if we do that, we won't be able to get what's down there all there very easily. I'm going to be going back there on the way out. Anyway, you come through here, up here, if you're just jumping around the room, and you'll find that there is a missile pack over there, and also another dot that is hiding another goodie. So what do we need to do? But clearly we have to go run along the bottom and probably get a speed booster. You would have scanned around to kind of find that this is the shaft you need to jump. Like, if you scan up here, you might be able to notice the dudes on the top there. But most likely you're supposed to piece together and just line up that the narrow shaft that's lined up with the dots is probably where you need to jump up. Like so. Oh man, I'm so happy about that really hard missile pack I got in the last episode while I was complaining about how awful that missile pack is. So you get that missile pack, you come over here, and there's another super missile pack. But don't just run for it, because there's another, screw you in the game if you just kind of run for it. While the shortcut back to Brinstar, I don't think they were trying to be jerks, this thing can just kind of go to hell. You get up here on your own merits, you kind of figure out how to get up here, then you can just go and fall and die. Stupid. Now, I don't think there's actually any point into coming into this room unless you come up here through the top, because this is actually an area you can get dumped in from the area above, and I'm showing it off here because I'm not going to fall through the top. I'm gonna try not to anyway. So this is a dumping ground where you're gonna have to exit from if you get, dumped out from the top. I've said that a few times already, but I'm just saying it again for posterity. So where we want to go is back out this way, jumping up here, and kind of grappling around, but again, I find the grappling really annoying in here, and actually I should show off while I'm here what the game wants you to do. You get these grapples on the sides, so you gotta aim up at the wall, and if you do this, and you hold the button, you actually cling to the wall. What you need to do is let go of the grapple button, the shoot button, jump, and just keep doing that. You have to let go of the grapple button, otherwise you'll just you won't do anything. So you have to do that all the way up. But honestly, I find wall jumping, like basic wall jumping, a lot easier. Get out of here. I know how to take care of this guy. Get out of here. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. But I'm just gonna jump up the wall anyway, because once you get good enough at wall jumping, it just makes a lot of these sections a lot easier. And while I appreciate that there are alternative means to making an area easier, I just think that the method should be not a pain in the ass. These, hello! Hello! These are Metroids, aren't they? You come to this room, and if you have experience with the Metroid series, you probably freak out a little bit, because Metroids are extremely scary enemies, but they grab you, and they don't really seem to be doing much. They have a hard time clinging onto you, and they die in 2 shots. It's a well-known fact that Metroids are weak to Ice Beam, but for some reason the Mooks in this area, the Metroids in this area, are extremely weak, and it's kind of confusing, really. Well, that's because you might notice that these Metroids look a little off-model, and that's because these aren't Metroids at all. These are Mocktroids, and they're kind of implied to be failed experiments that maybe were supposed to be Metroids, hence the name Mocktroid, but I like them. I like their existence because they kind of make a good WTF moment when you come in here and you're like, what is that? But that's all I have to really say on Mocktroids, because now we come to a room with Spore Spawns music, and we have a boss. It's Batoon, or Batoon. It's a serpent dragon that kind of swims around a bit, and through the holes in the walls. And you can only shoot him in the head, and he's kind of hard to hit. He'll do his circle thing, and the easiest time to shoot him is when he pokes his head out through the wall and shoots his spread shot at you. When he's moving around like this, he's a bit harder to hit, although feel free to just kind of unload missiles on him. If you use super missiles, you actually kill him really quickly. If you don't use super missiles on him, this fight can be extremely annoying because, yes, he gets faster with every phase of the fight, and he is harder to hit. And you kind of have to wait for him to, you know, poke his head out. The best way to kind of dodge him when he's moving around like this is go into Morph Ball mode and just kind of roll around, and he probably won't hit you. I do like how in this game the Morph Ball is actually a very functional dodge mechanic, or just a way to avoid taking damage, and this guy needs to stop moving because he is getting on my nerves. The shades of red are just insane. Come on. Come on. I'm surprised he's not attacking with his normal attack, but that's just fine because I can just shoot him down with normal missiles, and that'll work just as well if I can... There we go. Show me a serpent dragon in a game that doesn't fall to the ground from head to tail, exploding segment by segment. As early as N64 and earlier. Maybe PlayStation also, I don't know. So Batoon is... he's necessary, I guess? He is necessary if you're going to be progressing further into Maridia. It's kind of not really entirely certain what the space pirates are doing here, but if those Mocktroids are any indication, this might be a testing ground for them. So if you ride this quicksand, that'll take you down to the layer below and dump you back out, and you'll have to crawl all the way back up to where Batoon's lair is. So this isn't actually what you need to do, but this is something that you should do. You jump up here with the spring ball, and that gets you the energy tank. If you jump and morph ball in midair, I think that might work too, but don't quote me on that. But that's another energy tank. There's only 3 left in the game. We've nearly got them all. So we run through all these bricks and blow them all up, and that's how you get across and through this room. Yada yada yada. However, we are almost near the end of... Look at that, we have cleared out most of Maridia, and I'm kind of impressed that it's been going so efficiently. But that's what happens when you kind of plan ahead what your path is going to be. Otherwise, you're going to spend most of your time in Maridia dinking around, not sure where to go. And the game kind of makes your experience from here on a little more streamlined. Like, after you beat Botwoon, the path to the boss is a bit streamlined. It's easier to get through. The door on the left was locked, and you can't unlock it until after you beat the boss. If anything, it's kind of more of a shortcut backwards. And yes, there are Metroids in this room that need to be killed because they are super annoying, and there are blocks that you're meant to grapple on to get through here. My advice is to just kind of get rid of these Metroids while they're here. Again, the game expects you to use the grapple beam, but it's just easier if you're good at wall jumping to just wall jump all over the place and kind of make yourself look like a dork. And no, there are no power-ups in this massive room. On one hand, it's nice because you don't have to scan every tile in the room, but you're probably going to your first time playing the game. Your first couple times, really, because you're not going to commit all this to memory. There's so many power-ups in this game. And... okay, I may as well show off what they kind of want you to do here. What I think they want you to do is, well, you can do this, and then from there you can get up onto this block, jump up here, and also Samus has a different sprite depending on what wall she's holding on, like from what direction she faces. So that's a really cool... They put a lot of detail into Samus's sprite, like even looking left to right, you can see if what hand is like over onto the arm, because her right arm is the arm cannon. But I'm rambling. We want to come up here because there is a save room up here, and as you can see, we are extremely close to the boss of this level. Wow! I think there was also a power-up we could have gotten, but, well, let's not worry about it just yet. First things first, I'm going to go and restock on, I think, missiles and energy, if I can restock on, or just missiles, and... well then. Actually, I am going to go back to a room and restock on missiles real quick. I'll see you there in a moment. Okay, so you come back to this room where we were the first time, and I can't believe I didn't check for this the first time, but you run through here, and you're going to find that there's this path that you can take with these weird enemies that'll roll around and try to push you off the edge, but they're not too bad. You can't destroy them. You just kind of have to get over them. And if you follow them over here and kind of ignore this guy they kind of get their face tentacles all over you, they're proboscis, and there's a missile charge station over here. That's all that's over here, and that's all I really wanted to show off. And also it's worth it because, it's kind of worth it just because it takes forever to restock on missiles now. You can run back out here and that'll make your trip a little bit shorter, and then you're back in this room. Okay, I'll see you back in the save room. And there's really not a whole lot left to say in this episode, aside from we are nearly at the boss. We are practically right on top of them. But if you want to see the boss of Maridia, then I'm gonna have to hold it off till the next episode, because this one's gotten really long. So if you want to see it, then I just hope to see somebody then. Bye-bye!